Why are you rich and successful in this life? In your previous life, you built a Buddha statue using gold and expensive materials. Why are you blessed with good transportation? In your previous life, you built a bridge and patched cracked roads. Why are you blessed with expensive and luxurious clothing? In your previous life, you had donated clothes to Buddhist monks. Why are you blessed with abundant food and clothes? In your previous life, you had donated food and clothes to the poor. Why are you poor in this life? In your previous life, you were miserly and refused to help others. Why are you blessed with living in lavish homes? In your previous life, you donated food to Buddhist temples. Why are you blessed with beauty and good looks? In your previous life, you decorated Buddha statues with fresh flowers. Why are you blessed with wisdom and intelligence? In your previous life, you were vegetarian and recited Buddhist scriptures. Why are you blessed with happiness? In your previous life, you united and created peace among people. Why are you blessed with having both parents in your life? In your previous life, you respected lonely and solitary people. Why are you an orphan in this life? In your previous life, you used a slingshot to aim at birds. Why are you blessed with many children and grandchildren? In your previous life, you printed Buddhist scriptures and passed on the teachings to other people. Why you do not have offspring in this life? In your previous life, you broke off flowers from the stems as destruction. Why are you blessed with good health and longevity? In your previous life, you bought living animals and released them from captivity. Why are you prone to death in this life? In your previous life, you killed living animals. Why are you single with no wife? In your previous life, you tricked and exploited other people's wives. Why are you a widow in this life? In your previous life, you treated your husband with disrespect and unworthiness. Why are you blessed with good eyesight? In your previous life, you provided lighting around Buddha statues. Why are you blind in this life? In your previous life, you purposely gave wrong directions to other people. Why are you born with cleft lip? In your previous life, you blew out the candles near Buddha statues. Why are you mute and deaf in this life? In your previous life, you spoke evil words to your parents. Why do you have a humpback in this life? In your previous life, you ridicule people who worship the Buddha. Why are your hands twisted in this life? In your previous life, you had created bad karma. Why are your legs shrunk in this life? In your previous life, you robbed people on the road. Why are you born as a horse or buffalo in this life? In your previous life, you had indebted other people. Why are you born as a pig or dog in this life? In your previous life, you had deceived other people. Why are you suffering with many illnesses in this life? In your previous life, you brought meat and alcohol to Buddhist temple. Why are you born healthy with no illnesses in this life? In your previous life, you had donated medicine to save other people. Why are you facing imprisonment in this life? In your previous life, you had exhibited cruel behavior towards others. Why are you starved to death in this life? In your previous life, you had sealed and blocked snakes and mice caves. Why are you poisoned to death in this life? In your previous life, you had trapped and killed fishes in the water. Why are you living with suffering and misfortune in this life? In your previous life, you expressed behaviors that make others suffer. Why are you born with a short body in this life? In your previous life, you placed Buddhist scriptures on the ground. Why do you often cough up blood in this life? In your previous life, you recited and chanted Buddhist scriptures right after eating meat. Why are you deaf and dumb in this life? In your previous life, you were distracted and not listening during Buddhist chants and lectures. Why do you suffer with skin rashes in this life? In your previous life, you placed meat in front of Buddha statue. Why do you suffer with unpleasant body odor in this life? In your previous life, you had sold scents deceivingly. Why do you die by hanging in this life? In your previous life, you used ropes to trap and capture animals. Why are you living in solitary in this life? In your previous life, you often scolded and were jealous of others. Why are you struck by lightning or burned by fire in this life? In your previous life, you had been deceptive, dishonest, and unethical. Why are you being bitten by snakes or attacked by tigers in this life? In your previous life, you misled others and caused confrontation.